Hi, church. It's Pastor Bruce Bowerman Jet checking in Friday. I know I haven't done a video in a couple weeks. I've been a slacker as I was on vacation for some days, and I was traveling last Friday, getting back to West Palm Beach after a time on away and up in Ohio to see some family and friends, and I guess enjoy some of that fall leaves. If you've never experienced the Midwest. It's uniquely different. Just as South Florida is uniquely different, the Midwest is definitely different. And thankfully, I went just before it getting colder. This week, I noticed as Tom is coming back from Ohio, got back yesterday, that they were having freeze warnings, and this is when the frost happens, and then the leaves kind of quickly fall, and that's just a hot mess to try to clean up. But I was there just as the leaves were pretty, and the weather was relatively nice, a little chilly for my liking, but because I've got used to this lichen in here in West Palm Beach. But it was a wonderful time, and I'm glad to be back and getting back into the rhythm of things. And so if you've reached out to the church or reached out to me, I'm still playing a little bit of catch up on emails and getting kind of back into the rhythm in the life of the church. So bear with me. I need some grace as I try to navigate back from vacation and a very full calendar as we kind of move forward. Many things are going on in the life of the church. I would encourage you to check out our website, our calendar of all the different events that are taking place. We have this after on Friday. Typically it's the fourth, the last Friday of the month, but this one's a little earlier because we have other things happening the next couple months with Thanksgiving and Christmas. An opportunity to get together with the folks at Christian Manor. They've been a big part of connection of this congregation over our history, and though that relationship has changed over the last several years, it's still an opportunity. A lot of our members or folks that attend here live at Christian Manor, and so we have started an outreach of going there once a month to play some bingo, share some food, fellowship one another, a little bit of music, nothing too wild, but an opportunity to be community together. And so I'm so thankful for that and many other opportunities that are happening in the life of the church. And as I look forward to Sunday in the life of the church as we continue our kind of the end of the year series, really just sticking with the same theme. Jesus is in the city. I really, my entire life, and I think most of our lives, that there's so much going on. There's so much. Sometimes we're overwhelmed in our own personal lives, right? We get bad news at the doctor. We can't seem like we can get enough bills paid off. The house never always got a problem. The car's got a new noise. It never seems like we can get ahead. And when we do think we've got ahead, then we all of a sudden find ourselves 12 steps backwards. And in this thing of life, and then of course there's global and national things that are going on, and I'm going to go there just yet, but it's easy to say, this is just the worst it's ever been. This is just, how do we go forward? How do we connect to our hope and our faith in Jesus with all the things that do pop up in life? And that's why I think it's so important, because we think that what was happening in Jesus' time is uniquely different than our time. And it is. Situations are different. We don't have anybody we're hanging on a cross today, or I surely hope not. But there was chaos in their time period. Before Jesus walked this earth, there was chaos. Read the Old Testament. There was chaos in Moses' time. There was chaos in the Apostle Paul's time. There was chaos when Jesus walked. There was chaos when all of a sudden these disciples that gave up everything in their lives to follow Jesus, to then have the emotion of all of a sudden he just abandoned, and he didn't abandon, he died on the cross for their sins and for you and I. And again, it was chaos. And yes, and post that, those disciples figuring it out, and then us, our chaos. There's always been chaos. But through all that history and all the chaos, we are still here thanks to people before us that believed in the faith and the hope and love of Jesus. That Jesus, there's something bigger going on around here. And those teachings that he taught thousands of years ago are just as applicable as it is today. What we find ourselves doing is we like to twist and turn the passages to fit our narrative. And no matter who you are, me included, we do that because it's a human thing. But the message remains the same no matter on your perspective. And getting to that, to see that is the seeing Jesus' work in ministry. Because as Jesus healed the sick, as he fed people, there was disciples, there was people in those crowds going, oh my gosh, will this Jesus just sit down? Will he give it up? Why is he going to lose his life? He says he's going to take on the government. Why is he caring for these women? They're just the low part of the totem pole. There was people in the crowd that were saying that, but Jesus and those disciples, even though it wasn't perfect, kept pressing on and kept recognizing there was something bigger. That you need to stand up for people. Because we're all just human beings. We all bleed, regardless of where we stand on the political spectrum, our perspectives on this world and life. We are connected together because we are a community of believers. But we are, even more than that, we are connected because we are human beings. And Jesus argued that every person matters. And I also argue every person matters. It doesn't matter. I may not like it. I may not like it when someone disagrees with me or sees a different perspective of how the world, but when it gets to the nitty-gritty, Jesus taught us. His teachings then applies to us now. And I'm looking at a passage, going right to a passage this week, Luke 14, verses 12 through 14. It is a very short passage. And it tells us three things that I'm going to look at this Sunday, this attitude. One, do not give only to get. Give freely to those who cannot give back. And three, look to God for your reward. These important points. We live in a world, well, I will only do this. I will only give the church finances. I will only help my neighbor if it scratches my back. I'll only care for another human being if it really affects me. Right? You know, I've never been homeless to this date. That doesn't mean that I don't know what the future holds. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't care for the person that is homeless. And not to look, well, if I give you something, I get something in return. I give you a dinner, a food, I should also get something. That's the world we live in. And our society, especially our capitalism society, we live in that of how we can make a return in our investment. But we're talking about people here. We're talking about people, human beings, regardless of what may be going on in each other's lives and our own lives. The teachings of Jesus. We just love one another. We see people as people. And we press on together. How do we do that, though? And Jesus gives us an important lesson this week in our teachings that we will look at in Luke 14. So I hope you'll come along and join us online. Come join us at worship at 10:15. join us at Cafe Agape at 8:45 as we're looking at a book about rabbits to dinosaurs, about how we create new strategies to do ministry, because we are living in a different world and people are on all over the map of how we step forward. It's a great opportunity. It's a low-key breakfast available. We talk about the book, and even if you haven't read the book, again, the topic is something you can fall right into. God is still present. Jesus' teachings are still relevant. It still means the same, and our world may be in chaos. But we cannot, church. We cannot, people. Wherever you are, people of God, people on the question, people on the wherever you may be, we cannot be people just sitting back going, oh, well, it doesn't affect me. My neighborhood's quiet and safe. I don't need to worry about the neighborhood across the road where federal agents are running into. I'm good over here. I've got plenty of food in the cabinet. I mean, we can go with that mindset. But that's not following the teachings that Jesus gave. And again, we'll dive deeper come Sunday morning. I pray that wherever you are, that you know that you are loved, and we together, as a community, we are a community, a family of First Christian Church West Palm Beach, that none of us have it together. We are struggling, and at times we figure it out and we lose it and we find it again. And I hope that you will come and check us out to experience God together and discover what God has in store for each of us. Let me offer a quick word of prayer. God, I'm just so thankful for this time of connection that we can have on this Friday, and I pray that wherever and however life guides us and leads us, that we see the bigger picture and try to set aside our own desires necessarily just to be your church, to see not people for the financial class or color of skin or whatever baggage we're carrying, that we're seen as a human being, created by you, loved by you, everyone loved by you, and that you give me the courage and give us the discernment of how we can just be your hands and feet, to love each human as you loved us first. We pray all these things in your name. Amen. Church, it's a blessing to join you on Friday. Glad to be back. I look forward to worshiping with you on Sunday. Blessings, church.